Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday the 9th of August 2025 and it's about 8:45 in the morning. We'll kick off with what's for the basket like we always do, and this week it's Ben's long grain rice, microwave rice. Now this is the 220 gram pack which is on sale in most supermarkets for about £1. It's one sin on plan. I like to have things like this in the cupboard for the times when you come in, you want to throw something together quickly, even if it's a salad, and you need to put some carbs on it to make it food optimized. For one sin, how can you go wrong? I also have here the roasted garlic version, which is lovely and is 2 sins, and my favourite, sticky rice. I've had sticky rice in many a Thai restaurant and I love it. This is 3 sins, but for 1, 2 or 3 sins you've got something carby to throw on a salad, which is in effect speed and protein. If we really want to food optimise, we should be looking at the 3 different parts of our plate. If you want to do SP, go ahead, it's your choice. But I don't believe in that. I don't believe it has a fat weight loss power. It has a water weight loss power because you're taking out the carbohydrates, and 1 gram of carbohydrates holds on to 4 grams of water. So you drop your carbohydrates on SP, you'll drop the water from your body. Today, I prefer to focus on fat loss, because it's fat loss in the long term that will make us into smaller people. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. I'll put these down. Word of affirmation, size. It's a small word this week and it only gets £6 for the children's toy appeal, but that's doing really well anyway. We're nearly at the target. We're not worried about that, but size matters, just to me. So I talk about some experiences I've had this week, and it's really strange because I went in the shower at about, 7:15, 7 o'clock this morning, and I thought, I'll make a video tomorrow because I've got absolutely nothing to talk about. And then I had my shower, and I'm not a quick shower, I like to spend 10-15 minutes in the shower. Wash my hair, having a shower, washing my arms. You know, you soap your arms and you're washing your arms. And I thought, do you know, it's strange because my arms are smaller than they used to be. You know, when you're wet and soapy, you really feel it. And so I thought, size, the word size came into my head. And I thought, think about how your size affects your life today. Well, I know how my size affected my life when I was a big girl of 22 stone and on the way down. And so I was thinking, how does it affect my life today? So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you some examples of how my size has affected my life this week. First one, which I'm really chuffed about, I've got a necklace on today. And if anybody watched my old videos when I was at Target, I had this necklace on, I think, in every video because my friend Brum died in 2025, and on the day of his funeral I took some money that he'd given me and I went into a jeweller's in Worksop, which was his hometown, and I bought this. And I actually bought it, and I bought it had a chain with it, but I actually bought a shorter chain because the chain it had with it would have had it hanging too low and I'd have caught it on things. So I bought the necklace and then I bought a shorter chain so I could wear it comfortably. Well, when I went back up, and it's a heart, I don't know if you can see it's a heart, silver heart. When I went back up in weight and I'd got back up to 15 stone 6, I couldn't wear it because it was tighter than a choker. And I thought, the one thing he might have wanted to do in life was choke me on occasions, but not when he's been gone for 10 years. And I had to put it away. And then this morning, after I'd been thinking in the shower about how my size matters this week, I got it out and tried it on, and it fits me just like it used to. You don't think, or I don't think, on a weight loss journey of little, quite insignificant things like that that will make me feel better and are a non-scale victory. I haven't worn this for about 3 or 4 years, and I'd stopped thinking about wearing it. Same with bangles. I like bangles. I've got several, hard bangles. When I was big, my bracelet size was 8.5 inches. Now it's probably 6.5. And when I was at Target before, I had to get rid of all my bracelets because they would just fall off over my hand. So I sold all my gold bracelets and put the money in the Building Society for a day when I thought I'll replace them with smaller ones. I never have. Maybe I will one day. And yesterday we were tidying out my jewellery box and Joe said to me, "Why is there a kid-size bracelet in here, didn't you?" And I said, "Oh, I'd forgotten I got that." And I think I must have got that bracelet for Christmas after I got to Target in 2015. And it looks tiny, but Joe undid the clasp, put it on me, and it fits with room to spare. Those things matter. It might be vanity, but it just feels nice. So anyway, I've written a little list of a few things that have affected me this week and have been relevant to my size. So I'm going to share them with you. Joe, number 1.
4.
Oh yeah. I made my video last week and I think I said at the end of the video I'm off to the gym. Our gym is 2 or 3 minute walk literally. So we set off and we went the long way around via the kind of main road. And the long way around, that takes 4.5 minutes. So we're walking along and I know that route. I've walked that route for 40 years. I've lived here for nearly 40 years. So walking along, and our buses tend to pull in at bus stops and they line up with the pavement so you can walk straight onto them like our trams do. So at every bus stop you're aware that the pavement is going to go up and it's not subtle, and then after the bus stop it's going to go down. And Joe always says as we walk along there, because that first one we pass is pretty steep, and he always says feet. So I'm hooked onto his right arm with my left arm and he'll say feet. So I know this rise is coming. And he said feet, and I heard him say feet, but before he got the T of feet out of his mouth I was on the floor. And it was like, what happened? It was so fast, wasn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it did. Well, it kind of happened in slow motion to me. It seemed like you went down really slow, but for you it
Question to Joe, why didn't you catch me? I think
you were determined to.
I think I let go, didn't I?
You went down and then it got to a point where it was like, am I going to stop her or is she just going to go?
But it didn't feel like slow motion to me because I fell on my right knee, which is all grazed. I fell on my right hip, which is the one I have a problem with anyway. I fell on my right wrist, which is bruised, and I fell on my right shoulder. So it was like, I just kind of collapsed in a heap and landed on my right hand side. Now, it was funny. I mean, you have to laugh about it afterwards. Thank God I didn't break anything. I think I was really lucky not to break my wrist actually, but thank God I didn't break anything. And why I'm relating this to size is A, because when I was bigger, like my 15.5 stone or my 22 stone self, that would have been so embarrassing. Because as I'm landing at this bus stop, there's a bus stop straight across the road, and up pulls a bus full of people. So I'm in my head thinking, oh God, they're all gawping at me. They probably weren't. They're all probably on their phones, you know what it's like. And the thing that relates most to my size and liking to be this size is I could just get up. When I've fallen before, when I've been big, it's been a job to get up. I would need something to like put my hands on and push myself up. I don't need that now. I can just, he's like, get up, Mum. And I'm like, just give me a minute. Because I'm thinking, what am I doing down? You know, it was that instant reaction, the shock, I think, of doing it. But then when I did get up, I just got straight up with no help at all. I can't do that when I'm bigger. I just can't. And then we just carried on walking and we went to the gym and I worked out for an hour and a bit. The bruising doesn't come out straight away, does it? The pain doesn't appear until you go to bed that night. And I haven't been able to lie on my right hip all week, but I'm feeling a lot better today. So, yeah, example number 1 of where size matters. Number 2.
Parking space.
We went to my husband's yesterday, and they've got a lot of workmen. He lives in an apartment block, and they've got a lot of workmen in there at the moment installing internet to every apartment that didn't have it. And so there's a lot of work vans and cars that aren't usually there. And we literally left with the littlest car parking space in the car park. So Joe always reverses into car parking spaces, so he reverses into this tight space, and he always gives me as much space as he can to get out, because he knows my hip's a bit dicky. And I couldn't open, this is how tight the space was. You know when you open your car door and there's like that first place you open it to, and then you push it wider. And I'm always conscious when I'm opening a car door in a car park to think about the car next to me, because you don't want to wham it one, do you? So I'm opening the car, and I couldn't open the car door as far as that first stopping place. So I probably had like that far to get out the car door. Well, at 15.5 stone, I would have just had to wait in the car for him, because I wouldn't have been able to get out. Now, I can just put my foot out and slide out through a gap like this wide. And it's lovely. It's a lovely feeling, because before I couldn't have done it. And I know he leaves me as much space as he can because he's thoughtful. And I know he needs more space than me because he's almost a foot taller than I am. But just something like that. Another non-scale victory this week. And when we came back to the car, the same car was still parked at the side of us. I opened the car that wide, car door that wide, and I just slipped it. I love that. Plus the fact that when you're sitting in the car, you know when my backside was... there's a lady on the internet we watch, her name's X times something, can't remember. But she always talks about when you're bigger and your bum sits alongside you, you know, it sort of spreads out, sits alongside you. That's how I was, because I'd get into his car and the seats are sort of... There's a central piece and then they go up. Well, I used to balance on the up bit, and then, you know, the rest of my bum went into the down bit. Now, I sit within the down bit and I've got space at either side of me. You don't realise what losing 4.5 stone can do for you. It makes a massive difference. So yeah, that was my experience, and that's another non-scale victory of how size matters. Number 3.
The sweater.
On my previous video, the one Does Slimming World Work for Everybody, the sweater I was able to wear inspired me to go back into my wardrobe this morning and try on 2 or 3 others, which I am more or less back into. I'm really surprised, because I can't see how much my body shape has changed, but it has. So again, non-scale victories. I kept a grey and gold coloured sweater that I really like, and I put it on this morning and it fits. So, more non-scale victories and how size matters. Next one.
Shoes.
Yeah, I'm at the moment I'm desperately trying to find some replacement shoes for my barefoot shoes. I wear barefoot shoes all the time and I've got several pairs, but because of the amount of walking we're doing, I'm getting through a pair in like 8 weeks, which is crazy. Because the ones I wear are anything from, well, on Amazon you can sometimes find a pair for £58, but the ones I really like are getting towards like the 158 mark, and that's just insane. So I'm down to 4 or 5 pairs, and I'm thinking by the end of the summer I need a different pair of more substantial walking shoes or trainers. Now, being blind, I need to be able to feel my feet. And I don't know if you've noticed with trainers nowadays, they've got soles like caterpillar tyres. And I've been trying on so many in so many different shops. He can walk in anything. He bought a new pair of shoes the other day, in Foot Locker, you put them on, and then he says to the guy, I think I'll keep these on, put my other ones in the box. And then we walk 5 miles home in a brand new pair of shoes. I can't do that. Is that a man thing? Or is it just some people have got better feet than others? So I've been trying shoes on for the last couple of weeks and trying again this week. I bought a couple of pairs, but I'm not sure about whether I'll be able to feel my feet well enough in them. But you know, now I go into a shoe shop and I just bob down, untie my laces, put the shoe on, tie the laces, whatever. When I was 15.5 stone, like 4.5 stone ago, I couldn't do that because I had winded myself. So I might have been in a position where I'm saying to him, here's your elderly mother, dear, can you fasten my shoe for me? I could slip off the ones I'm wearing without undoing them, but I want to try these on, can you fasten them for me? It's like being the child in the family. And oh, thank God I don't have to do that anymore. I have no problem at all reaching the floor, reaching my feet, cutting my toenails, whatever. Another non-scale victory. Now, because I'm saying non-scale, it's bound to have something to do with the scales because of losing weight for all of these things. But for me, it's more about ability, capability, health. Because yes, I could reach to fasten my shoes when I was big, but as I say, I would have winded myself. So it wasn't that I couldn't do it, it's just that now, let's look at being lighter as also being healthier. Now I'm healthier, I can do it without thinking about it. Next one.
The washer dryer.
In our kitchen we've got a washing machine to the left of the sink and a dryer to the right, and there's one single cupboard in between. I was getting to the stage when I was heavier of saying, Joe, load me the washer. Joe, put me the washer on towel programme, or just because I was fat and idle, basically, I'll be honest with you. Now, I've noticed with myself this week when I've loaded the washer nearly every day this week and then removed the wet washing to put it across into the dryer, I do it without thinking about it. Whereas I was thinking, oh, my back. Because it's right down there, isn't it? And I was bending over. And if I bend and twist, there's a chance I'm going to make my hip point painful. But now, I squat down. And being able to do that, which I couldn't do at 15.5 stone, does make doing the laundry a lot easier. And I don't have to think about it. So much of my life I've spent thinking about my size. Can I do this? Can I do that? What about this? Stops me doing that. I've said on my videos in the past, and you'll find it if you're that interested, so it is the truth, which is the bigger disability for me, being blind or being fat? And I love the fat word. I love that word. It explains exactly what it means. If you find it offensive, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry, because I'm talking about me, not you. Being fat, being morbidly obese, being 22 stone and coming down gradually, for me was a much, much, much bigger disability than being blind. And I'm not partially sighted, I'm not short-sighted, I can't wear glasses. I'm blind, which means I can't see. Shell would understand, she's in the same boat. Our lives are different, they're not worse, they're different. Still wouldn't wish it on anybody else, but the point I'm making is sometimes I don't think we realise, because you haven't got another disability to compare it with, I don't think we realise how carrying too much weight, even if it's only a couple of stone, 5 stone, in my case it was 13 stone, but how carrying that extra weight is such a disabling thing to do. Even going to the shop and having to carry a couple of bags of shopping back when you are overweight yourself is bloody hard work. Cleaning your windows, cleaning your house, running after your kids, all of the things we miss out on because, and 1,000 other things that we miss out on because we're too heavy. Right, okay, next one, Joe.
Ed Sheeran.
The gym. Ed Sheeran. Is that what you said, Ed Sheeran?
Yeah.
Right, I am loving the gym. I'm upping it with effect from today to 4 times a week, so I'm going to be going. I was supposed to go yesterday, but we ran out of time, and I told Shell I was going, so my apologies, Shell. We're upping it from today to going Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday and Thursday, because if we go early enough, we can fit it in. But we went, I don't know what day it was, one day earlier in the week, and there's next to my gym, adjacent to my gym, there are big doors which you can open, and there's a spinning studio. So in there you've got blasting music and a lady shouting out instructions to the people who are doing the spinning. And if you don't know, spinning is stationary bikes where you pedal like merry hell. You're up in your pedals, you're down in your pedals, you're doing this, you're following the instructor. My God, I think that would kill me. He used to do it, but you were younger then, weren't you? It's a really, really hard exercise. One of the guys who sometimes takes our slimming world classes is an instructor, and when he's doing it, he generally has the doors closed, and he's got such a lovely deep resonance to his voice that it doesn't jar with you. But on this particular morning, I already had a headache. The woman's bellowing, like, oh God. And then in the gym, they've got this most awful radio station. What's it called?
Kistery.
It seems to play the same half dozen songs over and over again, and none of them are that good. But I got a bit of a headache. The gym music was blasting, because different instructors have it on different volumes. The spinning music was blasting, and she tends to have much more treble. Is it treble? Not bass. Matt has more bass on his music. Hers is more jarring. And I started to do, which exercise was I doing first? One of the push-ups.
You did the bench press machine.
Bench press machine. And I just couldn't think. My head was going boom, boom, boom. And I couldn't switch off this external music. So I said, Joe, I can't do this. I just can't. And I wanted to cry. It sounds ridiculous, but it was so disorientating. When you can't see what's in front of you or alongside you, and all you can hear is this, oh. So we left and we went and got some earbuds, the Bluetooth earbuds. And we came back and Joe's like, put these earbuds in. We're not going to do the noise cancelling because makes me dizzy. But what music do you want to play? And I'm like, Ed Sheeran. Now, I'm not always an Ed Sheeran aficionado, but I do like Sapphire. There's a song called Sapphire. Just put Ed Sheeran's Sapphire on. So I've got it on in my ears, and my God, it suddenly made me 50% stronger. The beat of the music, the words of the song, because there's a line in it where it says I could do this all day, and it's like, yes, I could. Wasn't it amazing the difference it made?
Yeah.
Everything became easier because my mind was totally focused on this song with a motivational beat and that motivational line in it. So thank you, Ed Sheeran. My gym has greatly improved this week because of that song. But it's just one song. I'll listen to that at the gym for each set and for however many reps until I get bored with it, and then I'll find another song. But another funny thing at the gym was this guy kind of followed me onto what's the big handlebars you pull down?
The pull down, yeah.
That pull down. A man in the gym followed me onto it, and he had to drop the weight. Joe saw me, and I was like, yes! I mean, the weight wasn't high, but for a guy to follow you onto a piece of equipment at the gym and have to drop the weight, and I'm not being sexist, he was younger than me, I think, but that is another non-scale victory. It makes you feel positive about yourself, and you're going to do better because you know you can. And is there one more?
There's 2 more coffee shop tables.
Coffee shop tables.
But we're at 25-ish minutes.
We might have split the video.
Okay.
He'll edit it. Coffee shop tables have always been a problem to me because you go into Costa or you go into Starbucks or whatever, not so much Cafe Nero because their tables are generally lower. But I used to have this problem, especially in the Costa we went into, because we go to sit on the back wall and there was a gap about that wide between the tables. And then you slip through and you go left or right to sit on the bench seat at the back. Well, if I knew I was going to go left, I'd have to go in with my belly to the left. If I knew I was going to go right, I'd have to go in with my belly to the right, so that I could turn easily into the seat. But the funny thing was, I'm thinking about where my belly is. My bum could be clearing the table behind me, because there was a lot more of me than there was gap, shall we say. Today, this week, going to coffee shops each day, I can just zip through any space now. In fact, when we put the trolley back at Aldi the other day, there was a gap about that big between the trolley and like a rail, and I can just through it. Oh my God, that feels so good. I didn't have to walk all the way around like I used to have to. Little things like that people who've never had a morbid obesity problem or even a major obesity problem would never have had to think about were the silly things in my life that gave me anxiety. And I'm not generally an anxious person, I'm a problem solver. But that, if my friends had said to me, let's go to Costa, well, my brain would have gone, oh God, what if they want to sit on that back seat? Because none of them were my size. None of them would have realised that that was a problem for me. But they'd once took me away on the back seat before they went to get the drinks. And it was a problem for me. And the anxiety was horrible. Don't have it anymore. And didn't even realise I'd lost it until I went to sit down in the coffee shop. Next one, Joe.
Size and number on scales.
I went to group this week, and as I shared in my other video, I had to run in, drop off my food for taster, drop off a birthday present, drop off another package, and get on the scales and out the door. And I got on the scales, fully expecting a loss, because I've had a lovely week on plan. Totally on plan, which I find really comfortable these days. And my sins were every day between 10 and 12, which is possibly a bit lower than I am sometimes, but my food was so enjoyable. I didn't eat anything this week that I don't usually eat apart from grapes, but they're not a problem because they're free food. So I don't want to get hung up on I shouldn't be eating grapes. The way I was hung up on I don't eat bananas. I eat both now. It's not a problem. Those fruits that are free foods are very few calories more than the speed fruits. And I like grapes, especially the tutti frutti ones from Marks. And I like cherries, I think they're also free, especially the king cherries. And I'm not going to get hung up on crap like that anymore. At one time I would have been like, no, I'm only eating fruit if it's speed fruit. That's silly. You're not going to go the rest of your life without eating fruits or anything that you really enjoy. So the thing you really enjoy, it might show up on the Slimming World thing as a free food, and you think, oh, I'm not going to eat parsnips because they're only free. I'll have swede instead. Well, in my experience, you cannot roast a swede as well as you can roast a parsnip. Don't shortchange yourself. If it's free, you can eat it. Right? Much more likely to lose weight in the long term and keep it off over the years if you practice eating the free foods you love and enhance them with the speed foods you love. Don't get hung up on it has to be speed. Please don't. You'll regret it. I tell you, 50 years of experience, and I'd learnt that one the hard way. So I get on the scales, and what happens? The lovely lady says, you've gained a pound. I was in such a rush, I just went, thanks, took my book, and we had to go out the door. Joe was with me. And it kind of registered, but it didn't register. Do you know what I mean? Because we were literally trying to get somewhere to meet the police. We were in such a hurry. And then I got in the car and I thought about it. And I still got my book on my lap, and I looked at Joe as he's driving, and I said, how do you think I did that? And he said, I'll be honest with you, Mum, I haven't got a clue. He said, you've been 100% on plan all week. You haven't over-sinned anything. We'd walked, I would say, in the week in excess of 120,000 steps. I've been to the gym 3 times. And I'm not looking for excuses. It happens. It happens to everybody. We're going to get a maintain or a gain when we least expect it. It's how we react to it. And for me, this week was really good experience, because I know after making the video the other day in the navy and white sweater that my body shape is changing. I know from things that Joe says, you know, this is changing, that's changing. My back is very different from, I'm straighter. I can stand up properly straight now. I can put my shoulder blades back and put, there's one exercise we do at the gym, and I don't know what they're called, I'm crap. But you do it, and you take these, what's it called, Joe? The way you go like that.
Oh, the rear delt fly.
The rear delt fly. So you've got 2 things here, and you literally push them right out to a certain place. Now, to know that I'm pushing them out far enough, he'll put his fingers in the middle between my shoulder blades. And he says, to know you're doing this properly, don't focus on what your arms are doing. Focus on bringing your shoulder blades in as if you want to trap my fingers. And at first, I thought my brain just wouldn't connect with that. But I can do it now, can't I?
Yeah, you're getting better, aren't you?
Yeah. And when I do that, my back is starting to get much more mobility, much more straight. I stand up straighter. And I haven't felt my shoulder blades for donkey's years. They were buried under so much lard, you couldn't see them. But the feeling of doing that and knowing how much my back is changing, how much my shoulders are changing. Like I said, when I was in the shower and I'm washing my arms and things, I can feel where the muscles are starting to develop. Yeah, the bingo wings get in the way. They always will. They will never vanish. The loose skin will never vanish. I'll carry that as war wounds. But stepping on the scales and gaining a pound, knowing that my body is getting smaller, isn't at all frightening. I've got to think about body size, body shape. I didn't have a sign on my backside all week that says, this woman gained a pound. I don't look like I've gained a pound. I don't feel like I've gained a pound. Now, one of the things I was going to say was, I think it was as a result of falling over, because I've had a swollen hip all week. If it was as a result of falling over and badly bruising myself and knocking 7 bells out of myself, it's going to show on scales this week. Why am I in such a hurry that if it didn't show on Tuesday, it ruins my day, or it ruins my week, or I'm going to go home and eat over it? That's not going to help it show, is it? And that is one thing I vow to myself I will never do again. Because having a weight gain and eating over it is possibly one of the most stupid things I can do. Because all I'm doing then is inviting another weight gain next week. The second most stupid thing I can do is having a weight gain or a maintain and going home and under-eating over it. Because that don't work either. For me, and for most of the people I know who work this plan well, and there are a lot of people who are doing it well, the best thing you can do is just carry on as normal. Just keep going, optimise every plate you can optimise, because that's what works. And I promise you, there will be occasions when you get a gain. There will be occasions when you get a maintain. There will be occasions when you lose ½ pound and you wished it was £4. That's life. That's just life. It's not life getting in the way, it's just life. And if you're daft enough to beat yourself up over it by overeating or undereating, the result you get next week will be what you deserve, but it may well not be what you wanted. Just eat on plan. So yeah, I had a £1 gain this week. Does it show? No, it doesn't. Do I feel bad about it? No. Did I deserve it? Well, I don't know. Does it matter? It happened. But I'll be back in group on Tuesday and we'll see what happens then. I've stayed on plan. I've enjoyed every mouthful of food I've had this week. And that's all I can do. And I'm in this for the long term. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.